subject of a global online conversation, the tragic murder of 3 Muslim students in North Carolina in the United States. 46-year-old Craig Stephen Hicks is being held on 3 counts of first-degree murder. Police are saying that, quote, an ongoing neighbor dispute over parking may have been a factor in the killing, but are also investigating whether it was hate-motivated. And by the way, some of the family members of the students are saying that's not the case. It had nothing to do with parking. Earlier, a friend of the 3 students gave CNN's Brooke Baldwin his opinion on some attitudes toward Muslims in America.
I'm a North Carolinian too. I grew up in North Carolina, and it's a beautiful state with beautiful people. But our organization, United Muslim Relief, we're a non-political humanitarian organization. But speaking as an American Muslim, I can tell you we cannot deny that there's a sentiment in the community that we feel that we're being targeted for our faith. There is certain sections of the media and political apparatus that are constantly dehumanizing Muslims. And, you know, I want to take this minute and I want to ask people like Fox News and Bobby Jindal to stop this dehumanization of Muslims. It's really, really starting to take a toll. We had just last month a elected official named John Bennett, who's a state senator, said that Islam is a cancer that needs to be cut out of society. And the Republican Party establishment, instead of condemning him, they came out and made a point to say that we stand by him. These people need to reflect sincerely about what they're doing to the social cohesion of this country. Imagine if someone had said that about the Jewish community. And the important point here is that Black lives matter, white lives matter, Muslim lives matter, all lives matter. And we have to start putting this point across to the community.
There you have it, speaking with my colleague there on CNN USA, Brooke Baldwin, a friend of the 3 murdered Muslim students. So what happened? Let's get more on this from Joe Johns. He is live in Washington following this story. Joe, we know, I told our viewers what police has said, that it may have been over a parking dispute, but what do we know about the crime itself? Because some people are expressing some skepticism over that version of events, that why would you execute 3 people in their own condo over a parking spot? What are you hearing?
Well, we have slim details, Hala, quite frankly. I've been listening to the 911 tapes. This apparently happened around 5 o'clock in the evening at an apartment complex, College Town, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Callers to 911 reported hearing between 5 and 10 shots, reported hearing screams, then silence. We didn't hear from anybody on these recordings who said they saw it. This was apparently a dispute over a parking space, according to the authorities. Those 3 victims shot in the head. The suspect, Craig Stephen Hicks, turned himself in, charged with, as you said, 3 counts of first-degree murder, said to be cooperating with police. We also know that in the same statement where the police announced this was apparently a parking dispute, they also acknowledged the concerns of the community that perhaps this could have been a hate crime. They pledged to investigate that angle fully. Craig Hicks, based on Facebook postings, appears to be an outspoken atheist. He has criticized Islam, but he's also criticized Christianity and has suggested, for example, atheism could be the thing that solves the so-called Middle East problem, Hala.
Because he's posted on his Facebook page some anti-religion type messages, and that's leading people to believe that perhaps because the 3 individuals were obviously Muslim, the 2 women wore headscarves, which identified them as Muslim to people in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, that there may be a hate motive here.
Right. Concerns there. I mean, yes, the victims are all Muslim, all students. Dia Barakat, husband and wife, Yusor and Razan Abu Salih. Now, they're between the ages of 19 and 23. Barakat was a second-year dentistry student, apparently raising money to provide dental care to Syrian refugees in Turkey. So there is that angle to look into, the fact that the shooter turned out to be apparently an atheist, at least according to his Facebook postings, and we hope to get more from the authorities when they have it.
All right, and I'm just being told by my producer there that the suspect's wife, and that would be Craig Hicks, gave a news conference earlier saying it wasn't a hate crime, but we did hear from the father of the 2 female victims saying it was a hate crime, that they'd been threatened before by this individual. So 2 different versions here, Joe. Right,
and this is the kind of dialogue that's certainly going to get started when you have Muslim victims in this sort of highly charged atmosphere with the discussions about ISIS overseas and so on. And it's important to listen and to understand what people are saying, and we'll let the authorities sort out what the facts of the crime are. But this is a larger dialogue that a lot of people in the Islamic community say we need to have, Hala.
Joe Johns, thanks very much. Live in Washington. Coming up, heavy weapons.